Introduction to CLI. So that's what we'll be doing today. Immediately open you power your packet tracer. Let's pick a switch, for example. Maybe you pick your switch. Remember my connection yesterday. We've talked about cable already. In order to connect to the switch as an admin to configure, remember my console cable, connect to a console port on this PC, which is ROS232, then console port on the router, or the switch rather, right? You can click on your PC, remember, go to the desktop, then terminal. Then this is the basic information you get before configuring. Now let's go back to my material to display something. So this is my material, right? Introduction to command line interface. So in order to access the command line interface, if you are working on the packet tracer, it's straightforward, right? But if you are working on a real life switch, a real life router, you have to, there's a software we use to access it. It is called PuTTY, right? It's a terminal emulator PuTTY. In order to access the interface of a router for configuration, you need an emulator, a software actually you install on your laptop. With this software, this is how you install, or this is how you enter the interface of your router. It's very easy. Once you install a PuTTY, let me say, you launch your app. Before you launch your app, there's something you should check. Immediately connects the cable. It could be cable USB to your system, and the cable is connected to the router you want to configure. So there's few stuff. We have few stuff you need to put in place. First of all, you must know the ports that the system is using to connect to the router. Remember, these ports are not physical ports, they are logical ports. It can be physical port on your system, but logically they have numbers. So if you are not assigning the right number, you will not have access to the router or switch. Now, for example, I have PuTTY here. I have PuTTY here. Let me launch my PuTTY app. PuTTY is here. It's as easy as that. Immediately you click, you observe. Now, if you observe, look at my material and the PuTTY on my screen, right? It's same thing. We have session here. Session is on my PuTTY app. Same thing, but I just want to show you the setup. So before setting up this thing, that means you must have connected your PC to the router you want to configure. So the next thing you do, you go to your device manager on your system. Any way you can reach your device manager, you can type device manager on your search bar and get there. But for my system, I right click on my window icon, I look for device manager, then it opens up, right? From my device manager, I'll go down to ports and com, right? This is ports. Under the ports, we have com and LPT, right? So I want to know the COM ports my switch or my PC is using to access the switch. The ports, they are logical ports, though it's a physical port to your system, but logically it can change. It can decide to be COM1 today, COM port 1 today, or COM port 2 tomorrow. So the numbers changes. So in this case, I just click on this arrow button, so it opens up. Now I have two COM ports on my system. I have COM3 and COM4, but this is not a switch. If it's a switch, you will see something like a standard serial, something to a switch. But these are for USB links on my system. So immediately connect to a switch, you will see it might be the third COM port there. It could be standard serial over an interface. So you copy the interface, that is COM. It could be COM5, it could be COM6, it could be COM7, it depends, right? You copy it, you close this, then you now come to your PuTTY emulating app, right? This is your PuTTY emulating app. Now you want to use this PuTTY to access the router, access the switch for configuration. So immediately we have different options here. Now from these options, SSC simply means secure share. That means if you want to remotely access a router, you can be here in Ikorodu and your office is in Ikeja or is in VI, for example. maybe you're not at the office, you want to access the router for business or to configure one or two things. So you use the SSH, a remote connection. So you specify the host name or IP address of the router in your office, then you just enter and you are there. But now we are on the physical location. We are there at the physical location. So we don't need remote connection. What we'll do is a serial connection. We use a serial connection. Then immediately you click on the serial connection, you will discover the COM port. By default, it's COM1, right? Now it depends on the COM port that is connected to the router, right? If it's COM5, you just put 5 there. Immediately you put 5 there, 9600 is default, then every other thing just open. So right now, unable to connect to COM5 because the system could not find any specified file, right? No specified stuff. But that is how you connect to your router. Same thing here. You can see COM1 by default, according to the material, clicked on serial, then down, clicked open. Immediately, your emulating app will just open. Same thing we have with our package tracer. Although you don't have to put COM ports. On your package tracer, I think you've seen something like this: COM1, 9600, data bits of 8, stop bits